Warning: the following countdown may contain spoilers of rides that are best to be seen in person for the first time. You have been warned.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another video with your buddy the Roller Coaster Character. And today, as you can see, I'm here with a few pieces of merch, and my hat's Ford's today because I'm showing off this new Indiana Jones pin for the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Awesome ride, and I decided to get myself a pin for it. And also, I custom made a lightsaber while I was in Tomorrowland. Okay, honestly, this hat is feeling really weird when it's forwards on my head, so let's just put it back to what we normally do. That feels a lot better. So, if you couldn't tell already, I recently took a trip to Disneyland, bought a whole lot of merch, and just had a grand old time while I was over there. I'm already planning to go back there later in the year. And one video I was thinking of was, while I was there, I thought, I have never ranked the major rides at this park. So today, we're going to be counting down my top 15 favorite rides at the Disneyland Resort. This is including both rides from the Disneyland Park and the Disney California Adventure Park. So we're going to include everything all into one, and I'm going to be sharing you my personal opinions on all these rides, all these classic legends that have been timeless throughout these years, and also some of the new attractions that are absolutely killing it on the market right now. So let's get right into this countdown.
Now, just a quick disclaimer right here, not all the video footage you see in this video are mine, so I wanted to give full video credit to these YouTubers right here for filming this footage at Disneyland. Now, let's get into the countdown. So starting at number 15 is Spiderman Web Slingers at California Adventure. Now, here's my thing with this ride. I know it's the newest ride at the resort. However, this was probably my biggest disappointment and the only time I've been disappointed by Disney, by a Disney park. So here's the thing. Yes, you have to get on a virtual queue to do this ride, which I think is honestly not necessary after I rode it. Because when I rode it, it really just let me down. Yes, it's a cool technology system where you have to shoot the webs, and it's really cool how the effects turn out. However, when I went into this ride, I was expecting a step up from the Universal Spider-Man ride, and that wasn't it. And they pretty much made Spider-Man into kind of this childish type game now. And these new spider bots, I'm like, what is this? I was expecting Spider-Man to be fighting villains, or we were going to be fighting villains too. So yes, it's a letdown, and honestly, I would say still go ride this. It's a great ride. However, in my opinion, if you're doing a virtual queue, just do the one and done, and then go ride something else. Go ride Cars or Incredicoaster or something else in the park. Now, I believe this is probably going to turn out the same way that Star Wars Land did when they had Smuggler's Run, and then later on they released Rise of the Resistance, which was absolute hit. So I believe they're building a hit ride over by where the Quinjet is. However, that's not going to be till later, and that is saved for another video. But anyway, cool ride, but it's a one and done. Now, at number 14 is another California Adventure ride, and that is Soarin' Around the World. This ride is one of the coolest rides, and probably a sentimental ride to me as well. I rode this when I was a kid, and I just thought it was absolutely amazing, and it wows me every time. I love being embraced in a flight, or like I'm hang gliding around the world. It's really super dope. Obviously, probably every Disney ride has their own individuality. This is its own individual ride, and honestly, I prefer other rides over this, obviously, because I placed this so low, but hey, this is still a dope ride and a cornerstone of California Adventure. At the number 13 spot, we have the much beloved Haunted Mansion. This is the first ride to make it from the list from the Disneyland park. And this ride has really stood the test of time. I mean, the stretching room, always freaking awesome to watch. I don't care if I've seen it a million times or if I've only seen it once, it's always gonna be awesome. And then also the Pepper's Ghost effect, I really love watching. And also, I also love it when around winter time, they theme it to Nightmare Before Christmas. And I absolutely love seeing Jack Skellington and all the other characters, just kind of pointing them out and finding them around the ride. And this ride is just always freaking awesome to ride. At number 12, we have another California Adventure ride. This is Toy Story Midway Mania, the park's first interactive shooting game, and also what kind of helped started forming Paradise Pier into Pixar Pier. And this ride has really just gotten better and better. I always love coming in here and beating my high score. I finally beat it multiple times when I rode this, and this ride is just a very simple game to follow. Even for non-gamers, it's just super fun to watch and also try and aim for a whole bunch of points. It's one of my favorite shooting games to do on a ride, and honestly does it better than Web Slingers by far. I really love going through this ride, and also as a fan of the Toy Story series, I always love pointing out characters as well. Now, these next three Disneyland rides can really be all interchangeable on the list, but the one I put at the 11th spot is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And this roller coaster, yes, it may be a family mine train coaster, but it has gotten so much better, and it was running probably at its best when I went there last time. I got to ride this thing in the back row, and back row is really where it's at. for this coaster, and what I've noticed, it's really at the place to be in many different roller coasters, whether depending on what it is, but for this one, it's the back row. If you really want to go fast and feel the thrill and feel the airtime on this coaster, sit in the back row. And also, the projection mapping has gotten better, and I always just love hearing the clickety-click sounds. The original sounds of the train running along the track is pretty dang satisfying, so this ride will always have a place in my heart because I've ridden this since I was a child. At the number 10 spot is a ride that I have been riding since I was 3 years old. This is Matterhorn, the park's first roller coaster, and man, what an amount of years that has been put on this roller coaster. It has been open since 1958, and it has just gotten better as well. The animatronics Abominable Snowmen are so much better than the static ones. They put some cool little interesting stuff in the dark lift hill, and it's running pretty well. Yes, it's a little rough around the edges considering how old it is, but it's still such a fun ride to get on, and also getting scared by the Abominable Snowmans is pretty dang awesome. At number 9, we have Splash Mountain, my personal favorite log flume or water ride if you want to call it. And this ride, I always love the tunes of this. Even though they're from Songs of the South and it's not really notable, it's pretty dang notable on this ride. I love just the songs on this song. Zippity Doo Dah is one of my personal favorite. I've been listening to that since I was a kid. As you can see, there's a lot of sentimental value that carries on with these Disney rides. However, I always love just riding this. It has a great little storyline of all the characters from Songs of the South, and it's just super awesome. You also get drenched on this ride if you're in the front. At number 8, we have Radiator Springs Racers. This is another cornerstone ride of California Adventure, and boy did this ride really immerse you into Radiator Springs. Like, obviously the rockwork and scenery around this ride is super duper immersive, and I could see why this ride gets the longest line in the resort. And also, the ride itself, it's not like super duper thrilling, however, it's super interesting to watch. Some of the best animatronics of the cars on here are on this ride, and it is just absolutely awesome. And also the racing effect, it really only goes about maybe 45 miles an hour, however, it feels like you are going about 70 on a freeway or something. It's super duper dope, and I always love getting on this ride and getting to race another car as well. Now at number 7 is Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. This was the first ride to open at the new Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and I was not expecting to like this ride as much as I do now. Like, the graphics and the simulator of this ride is absolutely through the roof, and I also love the interactive shooting part of it. It was really cool. However, I did wish I wasn't like pressing a button. I wish I had a trigger because I got to be one of the shooters in the cockpit. However, I wish I was shooting a trigger rather than just pressing a button. Other than that, the ride was absolutely fun and awesome and was a pretty crazy ride to do with my family. Now at number 6 is another well-loved attraction. This is the beloved Space Mountain. Now, as much as this is really just a roller coaster inside of a dome in the dark, they've really spruced up this ride, and I absolutely love the soundtrack for this coaster. Obviously, this is one of those versions of Space Mountain that includes the onboard soundtrack by Michael Giacchino. I think he's a genius, and this soundtrack is just absolutely awesome, and it makes the ride 10 times better than it would be without the soundtrack. And also, they really spruced up the stars in the ride as well. They've started putting them more in there, and also it's a little more brighter, so you're not always riding around in pitch darkness. And man, they really do this ride pretty dang well. I've yet to ride it in Hyperspace Mountain Edition. However, I will get to ride that very soon. I just absolutely love this roller coaster right here. Now we have my top 5. At number 5, we have Star Tours. And man, this ride is the literal definition of timelessness because there's about 100 different variations of how you can ride this ride. It has the same storyline in every simulator. However, there's about 100 different scenes they could pull from each movie, where it's from the prequel trilogy, the main trilogy, or the sequels. They could pull from different scenes and just send you to different planets each time. And I love being surprised by all the different ones. And yes, I do mean it when they said there are about 100 different scenes that they can do in each simulator. So I just think that is absolutely amazing, and it keeps you on edge, and it keeps you wanting to go back and try out different ones because you will never get the same ride consecutively on this simulator ride. It is absolutely awesome. At number 4 is arguably the best drop tower in existence. This is Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Oh my gosh, I love this thing every time. I lose my voice Every single time I go to Disneyland and ride this ride, I lose my voice for about 2 days, and it is just that fun. It's a giggle machine, and I love drop towers that are more so giggle machines rather than just the one-trick ponies of going all the way to the top and dropping you. This one keeps you on edge, and also there's about 6 different songs that it plays from Peter Quill's Walkman, which is actually pretty cool. I also love the pre-show of this ride because Rocket Raccoon is my favorite character from this series, and I love watching this animatronic just do his thing and be himself. He is absolutely awesome. And just the ride itself, like I said, this ride will make you giggle and make you laugh every single time you ride it. It's just one of the best feelings in the world. Now at number 3, we have the Indiana Jones Adventure. Now this is probably one of my absolute favorite dark rides. I freaking made a recreation out of it, out of Kinect, so that's how much I love it. I love the cutting edge technology on this ride. The dune buggy, or truck if you want to call it, is so freaking awesome, and it really does put you into the world of the Indiana Jones temple, whether he's fighting off whatever situation he's in. And I also love the big room. Once you enter the cave of Mara, it is one of the absolute coolest sights to see. I like watching the bridge, and it just really is mesmerizing. I love watching all the lights and all the effects going off in this ride, and also that wrecking boulder at the end is really a great finale. So this is an absolute must ride when you go to Disneyland. Now, runner-up for number 1 is my personal favorite ride at California Adventure, and that is the Incredicoaster. Now, I've ridden this roller coaster over the years. I've gotten to ride it back when it was California Screamin', and now as in Pixar Pier as Incredicoaster. I personally like this version better. The soundtrack is always awesome. I've loved the score from the Incredibles movies, and I also love the story of you chasing Jack Jack throughout this entire ride. Now, this coaster, it might not have anything to shout at. It is one of the big thrills, and probably my first big boy coaster, I believe, and I just love riding this coaster. There's not many twisty turns, there's not a lot of airtime, but it is just super fun to ride every single time, and also night rides are so much fun on this coaster as well. Now, stealing my favorite number 1 spot, you guessed it, it's Rise of the Resistance. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is going to contain the most spoilers. You have been warned. Now, I prematurely watched the POV for this ride before actually going on it, and actually the morning of getting onto a boarding group as well. I was so stressed that morning, but luckily we got one. So I went in not really knowing anything about the story build-up or anything that was going on in this ride. We got inside this ship, then we got abducted by the First Order, and then we got broke out of prison by the Resistance. Absolute awesome story build, and then the ride is just a technological marvel. One of the biggest investments I can tell Disneyland has ever made in the history. So I can't believe they went this far, and I hope they go even further with future rides. I want more rides like this. It is absolutely amazing, and I wish I could have got on this ride so many more times than I did, because I only got on it once while I was at Disneyland and there were no boarding groups left. So I was so sad, but man, it is such an experience. You have to get on this thing. Make sure you get a boarding group. That is a must.
So there you guys have it. That is my top 15 favorite rides list from all the rides at the Disneyland Resort. I encourage you guys to create your own opinion, and also go and check out some of these rides the next time you have a chance to come back to Disneyland. They are absolutely killing it right now, and that park is just such a fun place to be. I encourage you, please, when you get the chance to go there, go on over there, make the reservation, and it'll be totally worth your while. So post in the comments on what your favorite ride is, and also don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more videos as I will keep them coming. See you guys, and I'll see you next time on the Coaster Crafter channel. Peace!